conference morning.
Good afternoon and welcome to LUTV's coverage of the game between Leeds United's 23s and Millwall at Thorp Arch. A strong starting 11 for Leeds as the two teams make their way onto the field. Myself, Tom Hill, and Ben Parker providing the commentary for you today. We'll run you through the two teams quickly in terms of Leeds' starting 11. In goal, it is an Ilan Meslier, Robbie Gotts, Gianni Alioski, Alpha McCalmont, Pascal Stroiker were the captain's armband today. Bright Azana, Helder Costa, Jamie Shackleton, Jordan Stevens, Kun Mihailov and Jack Clark. On the bench for Leeds, it's Kamil Majacek, Ole Casey, Mateusz Bogusz, Eddie Nketiah and Gaetano Berardi. And in terms of the Millwall team today, the goalkeeper is Ryan Sanford. Then it's Dan Moss, Beza Topoloy, Billy Mitchell, Jesse Deborah, Harry Ransom, Tyler Burry, Sam Skeffington, Tom Elliott, George Alexander, Ruben Duncan. And on the bench for Millwall, it's Hayden Muller, Leighton Fanshawe, Jaden Davis, Rob Strachan and Harvey Bradbury. We'll start then, Ben, with the Leeds team. And as we say, we were used to it last year with the 23s, a strong starting 11, and the bench even stronger today with, of course, the likes of Bogusz, Nketiah and Berardi out there.
Yeah, it certainly is, Tom. Like I said, we've come accustomed to that now. Players coming in, and if they're not starting games in the first team, this is where they're going to get their minutes in. I think it's a great thing to have. It keeps players fresh, keeps on the toes, and who knows when they're going to get called upon, because you need to be ready. And we proved it last year. It's a successful model that worked for the under-23s. Got the best out of these games. Look how well we did in the league and the cup. But then also it benefited the first team as well when ready of the players called upon. So it benefits the whole club. So the players will enjoy this, enjoy a run out. And for the under-23s players, it's the first game of the season for those guys. So plenty to look forward to today.
Yes, in terms of the league setup this year, of course, the Whites defending PDL North champions, but they haven't played a game. This is the first of the season for them. Millwall have played in week one. They drew 1-1 with Burnley, who Leeds did have a number of good battles with last season, as well as in the Premier League Cup. Millwall finished 6th last year. Leeds, of course, topped the regular season, did very well in the Premier League Cup, and also then won the national title back in the month of May, the 6th of May, beating Birmingham on penalties. Me and Ben covering that game. A great day for the 23s, and they've featured heavily in pre-season, the likes of the games against York, Guiseley. Some of the players, of course, went down under with the Australian tour. Jordan Stevens, who's taking the kick-off, as you can just see now. He was another man that's got to do the trip. Also played against Scarborough as well. So a few new faces to watch today. But a number of the first team just getting some extra minutes in their legs, more importantly as well. So it's a start of a busy week. Don't forget, on Wednesday we have the action against Brentford. All the action starts from 7 o'clock, the build-up, as Jordan Stevens gets us underway. Just a little bit more about that Brentford clash. It is available worldwide, so go to the website for your match pass, and let's hope that the 23s can get the week off to a good start. Here is the new goalkeeper, Ilan Meslier. Of course, signing just the last few days of the window coming in, and hopefully, Ben, a good chance to start. We had a couple of goalkeepers last year, didn't we? We had Jamal Blackman that played quite a few, Billy Peacock Farrell, Will Huffer played, we had Kamil Majacek, we had Josh Ray even stepped in as well. Leeds just working down the right hand side with some real pace and a good chance to get Shackleton into a crossing position. Now Robbie Gotts coming across midfield, and good work from Gotts. A nice little inside ball into Kun Mihailov. It was crafty from Alioski, and now Jack Clark can run the defence, and a chance to cut the ball back, and Stevens has got underneath it before a shot comes in. Stevens missed. I think it's Robbie Gotts at the back post. Tried to try his luck with a long right-footed effort towards the top corner, better not too far away.
Fantastic start by the boys there. You can see the building, passing movement. Mentioned the keeper, Meslier. By all accounts, is coming to the club, and people have been really impressed by him. Had a good reputation in France. Played a few games. He's only a young goalkeeper. You've got to remember that. So he's come in, the set-up, started using the ball really well. Build up down the right hand side, worked out to the left, nearly created a great chance, but fantastic start.
Forward from Millwall. Gotts just keeps it in play and skips away from the markers. But in fact, the referee, I think has said he has gone out on that far side. Helder Costa starting the game at right wing. Jonathan Stevens wearing the number 9 shirt, playing central today as Millwall work their way into a good position. George Alexander wins the Lions an early corner. Just 2 minutes in to this first 23's PDL North game. Good conditions, pitch in immaculate condition as well. Slight breeze out there today. As the ball yet to be taken for this set piece. Meslier, good hands as well, but then he spills it on the recovery and it's gone in. Now the referee said it's a free kick. He certainly has, and well, at first, really good positioning when he stepped up, got the ball. As it came to the floor, it came out of his hands, and you've been noticing a little nudge on him there, but at least a bit of confidence for him to come out of the doors.
Yeah, we've seen in the first team games with Kiko Casilla coming out and claiming crosses, claiming free kicks. And obviously Meslier's noted that, come out, and it's really good for your defenders. Gives you so much confidence in your goalkeeper coming in to do that. The referee, right so, gave a free kick, claimed it with both hands, and just got kicked it out, so good goalkeeping. In the middle of midfield, work it out towards Tyler Burrick. Pass to him is really poor. He looks around to his teammates. Other games in the 23s league going on today, but Leeds a couple of games behind some of their rivals. Plenty of time to catch up though. The ball with Bryce Asano, who's charging out from centre back, and really good, excellent,
powerful run. Clark's going to keep that ball in. He's got Alioski in support. Back into Alioski, a 1-2 is worked. Now can he find a shooting position? He can, but it's blocked at the near post by Ryan Sanford. Shackleton now from Alioski again. Bigotts has come across to help out, and we know how comfortable he is in a number of positions. As Clark goes to the byline, he's just got a little bit too excited as he tried to cut the ball back. Too much of a heavy touch, but we've seen Ben White for the first team. Ben come flying out of defence with confidence, and Bryce Asano was a latecomer to the team last year. He was injured, wasn't he, for the first part, and then he played at right back and looked as if he'd never been away, and then we saw him maybe 6-7 times play centre back, and the scary thing is he actually looks a little bit better there.
That is a scary thing, Tom, you're right. Another player who, like I say, can play in numerous positions. Really like him at centre half though, like I say, can utilise his strength, his speed. He's a modern day centre half, can stride out with the ball like he did there. And also it's a great start by Jack Clark. Every time he's had the ball, it's been nice and positive. Ran at his full back. On the last occasion, just ran it out, play a bit too much, but the first 2 times, it's a nightmare for a full-back when your wingers started to run at you straight away. So a good positive start by Jack Clark.
All the way back towards Meslier. Has to be quick here, and he's under pressure, and he gets the walk ball out towards Alioski. He's got pace to get past Berry, and now he'll drive forward. Every touch though. Millwall in possession with Tom Elliott. A bit of a blast from the pass there. Berry tries to go past Shackleton. Shackleton not letting him give a moment's rest. Ball to the near post, and Meslier gets underneath it and deals with it, as now he tries to bowl the ball out, and the keeper's been busy early doors. Ben, you mentioned, of course, the tactics that Kiko Casilla deploys, try to get the ball out early. There is Gumihayov into the speed merchant. Nice. Stevens to Clark. This is impressive from Leeds in the early stages. Clark scoops the ball up and puts too much pressure on Helder Costa, who can't keep the ball in play.
You'll be right about Meslier though, Tom. Great positive start by him, just like to try and get busy. And that's when we're at his best, when the ball goes to the keeper, if it gets in his hands, can we look to play quick, because that leaves the opposition, they're unsettled, they're not in a structure, they're a bit out of shape, and that's when we can start moving the ball quick and utilise that space that they've left him behind.
Good work from Alpha McCalmont. Costa tries to nip away. Gotts has a number of runners available. Scout Struick, the man that offers a helping hand, and he's just put under too much pressure and kicked the ball past Alioski.
Yeah, looking at Millwall, obviously, you mentioned Tom Elliott, blast from the past. It's good to see him up at Thorp Arch again. This is where he came through the system, but for our two centre-halves, he'll prove a very good test. Plenty of experience now in League One, in the Championship, played a lot of games, but with his strike partner as well, them two pressing his early doors, so just got to be careful with your passing, don't leave anyone short.
He's won a free kick just near the touchline. And a chance to build out from the back again with Hazana. Here is Kun Mihailov, dropped off the shoulder of the nearest defender. Finds Alioski, goes for the return pass, which wasn't too far behind him. And it's back to Sanford, who just gets away from Jordan Stevens. And while Ben mentioned the Tom Elliott threat, the threat of Jordan Stevens is a bit different, a bit more pace in behind, running into the channels, and a new look position for him. We didn't really see him for the middle last season.
No, but he's one of those, again, he can play on either wing, and no real difference playing up top, just as those runs further forward.
Yeah, Cox tries to scoop that ball and keep it in play. He's unable to do so Sanford will defuse the situation. And we're around 8 minutes into this game, and still goalless, of course. So Leeds started well. A little bit of a nervous moment for Milan Meslier after he was fouled and the ball was bundled into the net, but free kick given, so it's the closest we've come to any goal. And he's looking good down either flank so far. Deflection, that's going to play into the path of Alexander, who cuts it back into midfield. Struick's going to have to get across. Burry comes in, deflected, really good save from Meslier, who stuck out a left leg. Had to get down to it, he was going the wrong way at first. And Leeds win a free kick. Clark thrown to the floor by Skeffington, but Burry's shot took a wicked deflection. Really good work, Ben, from Meslier to get down and tip it away.
He did, like you're saying, he'd gone for the initial shot, gone down to his right hand side, got a little deflection, but good keepers, like they use the legs these days. You see top keepers up and down the country, it's not all about the handwork, they have to use the feet as well, even to make saves. So he's done well there, just made himself big. But we saw the threat with Tom Elliott and Alexander, the little link-up play, flicking it on. So for our two centre-halves, just important, keep covering around each other, just have each other's back, because it might not be the first head you have to win, you might not win it all the time. It's the second balls that's important.
Yeah, ball up towards Elliott, who keeps it in play. Here is Topolo, who is just nudged to the floor by Helder Costa. A reminder of the Leeds bench there, just in case we need them in the first or second half. Cameron Martek, Ollie Casey, Gaetano Berardi, Mateus Burgish and Eddie Nketiah. Of course, a very strong substitutes bench for Leeds today, should they be needed. We'll take an age of this free kick. Topolo eventually punts it long towards Elliott. Burry, the man that picks the ball up, Alioski just gives him a little pull, and the referee said that's a free kick. And Burry's seen a lot of the ball, Ben, so far down this right wing for Millwall, and it's causing a few problems. Yeah,
it's obviously a little ploy for Millwall. They're trying to isolate our fullbacks, just saying be positive. But with Alioski, he's got plenty of experience, plenty of quality, so he'll figure out whether to get a bit tighter or just get somebody back just to kind of double up on him.
So coming across to take the set piece. Looks like it's Ruben Duncan. Two-man wall is Costa and Gotts. Power to the far post. Elliott steers it back towards goal. He's going to have to hurry up here, and Kumahayev gets a slice clearance to the ball. It's enough to concede a throw-in, which will be taken by Dan Moss. Good numbers here today at Thorp Arch as well. U23's game was very well attended last season. Elliott with the flick on, Mesley picks the ball up and he's again looking to try and release a counter-attack, which Helder Costa will try and start. He's got Shackleton bursting on the inside. It's not the easiest of passes to collect. They'll still win a throw-in, but good signs that despite this little bit of pressure from Millwall, 11.5 minutes in, Ben, and still 0-0, that the keeper looks like he's alert to everything and he's not getting caught up in the game and his first experience of playing here at Thorp Arch in front of a little crowd. He's straight on the attack every time. He's looking pretty sharp.
Yeah, and even if you had a little bit of nerves, even with the U23's games, it's only natural. It's first game for the club. But like I say, so far so good. He's settled in really well, been nice and positive. And even that I was talking about, trying to set the counter-attacks off. So important, especially this guy on the ball. If he gets the ball in more space, it causes damage.
Yeah, ball over the top, looking for Stevens. Mikhailov as well, trying to get in there. Just couldn't get onto the pass as the ball is launched forward by Mitchell. Tom Elliott can't keep it in play. McCalmont being pretty quiet so far. Won't be too long before he starts to put his stamp on the game as he just flicked it inside towards Struick. He will now float the ball over the top, looking for Alioski, and it's just going to bounce over the top. I think he was offside though, Alioski, that's why he's given up hope on that. Now for Sanford to take this goal kick. There's no rush though, Ben. There's certainly a lot more urgency from Leeds' play.
Certainly there is. But to be fair to Millwall, this first 12-30 minutes just ticking into now, they've come out and they've had a decent go. We've seen, especially last season, a lot of teams from down south have made the trip up. They did sit back a little bit, maybe not lethargic, but didn't get into the rhythm straight away, and we took full advantage of that. But like I say, I think we prefer teams coming on to us like this because it raises our tempo. You can just see there Alexander, number 10, trying to close the ball down, working in tandem with Tom Elliott. So right back four just forces to move that ball at a bit of a tempo, but then has a knock-on effect to our midfielders as well, moving off the ball. Just see Alfie McCalmont sprint into the shot there, just trying to move their position about.
Towards the left, and it is with Clark. Alioski in a crossing position. It's inside, good work from him. Cut back though to Stevens was a little bit short, and then Alioski comes in with a tackle. Just a desperation to try and, of course, win the ball back, but good run all the same, Ben.
It just shows his athleticism there, Alioski. Anytime he's played left back, we saw it a lot last season towards the end of the season with the first team. His energy levels just bombing up and down that left wing. It's frightening to see. And then he gets in the position and he can take people on because he's attack-minded. He was just unlucky there, just tried to pick someone out on the edge of the box. But to be fair to Millwall, they've got back in numbers. But even though Alias gave the free kick away there, his work rate, desire to win it back were great.
Forward, Stevens just gone offside. He went for the chip attempt early doors, maybe just to find his range from long distance, knowing that the play was going to be pulled back. And of course, it might take him a few weeks to maybe learn this new number 9 role. That's if he is going to be deployed on a regular basis. Of course, when some of the first teamers are in that squad.
The good thing about the front three today, they're all interchangeable. You looked at Costa and Jack Clark when they played against Salford last week. They set up on opposite wings, but I think good players, they can play in different positions. They're comfortable playing in different positions. So when the game finishes, I probably wouldn't expect them to finish on where they started. So it's hard for the Millwall defence because every so often you come up against different challenges and just try and exploit that.
Yeah, here's McCalmont.
Just done well there, Alfie.
Really good turn. Really nice ball from Mazzana to find Costa. He bursts forward through midfield. He's effortlessly gliding past the Millwall defence. Clark, a little stop and go towards Alioski. Perhaps a shooting chance. He will go for goal, blocked by Bury. And then a little foul from Mazzana, and it's just unfortunate for Leeds. We're just starting to turn the heat up there a little. But some really good balls through the middle of midfield, Ben.
You could see Alfie McCalmont there, his movement, been working in tandem with Jack Shackleton as well. They're sprinting off the ball just to create angles, not only for themselves but for the teammates as well. You could see Helder Costa just got in that little number 10 kind of position on the half turn, and then he was off, being so direct, sprinting towards the back four. Good link-up play with Jack Clark and Alioski again on the left. Unfortunately, it just didn't come to nothing, but every time we inject that little bit of speed and tempo into his play, we're cutting Millwall open.
Yeah, Bree trying to work his way towards the byline. Leeds managed to win the ball back and get a goal kick out of it. Good work from Alioski.
They were talking about, as the game goes on, first couple of times with Bury having a little run at Alioski, like experienced players, they start to figure it out on their own. They don't need people on the sideline telling them stuff because they're comfortable just problem solving on their own.
Yeah, Wesley under some serious pressure there, and he has to divert it away, and Shackle just trying to remind him, get the ball cleared early. Good pressure from Millwall. Looks as if they've noticed that as an area they want to try and exploit, putting the pressure on early doors up top. But again, under no real urgency to get the ball and take these throw-ins quickly. Topoloi, the man that will throw in this set piece. They've been going long to Elliott, and this one's short. So Alexander will scoop the ball up, looking towards Elliott, and really good hands again by Meslier. Had to dive out of the way of Struick as well. A bit too keen to get the ball out, and it goes out to Alioski. So a little bit stop-start so far in the first 17.5 minutes. He's showing some signs of real promise in good areas, but one of the first times this starting 11 has played together, of course, with a mixture of 23s and first team players. So it could take a few minutes to click as the ball comes out. As Anas scooped his clearance, and it's of course not a back pass, not intentional anyway.
Never been a back pass at that.
And Zana might have come off a little bit worse there after falling over, holding on to the arm and the shoulder. Just another example of a player just trying to get his foot through the ball and perhaps not connecting as cleanly as he'd like. Good job, Meslier was there to help out, and a chance for physios to come on, Ben, players to get a few instructions, and Millwall are certainly not going down without a fight here.
No, like I said, they've come out and they've tried to be positive. They've tried to set the game to us, and like I say, he should play into our hands. We should enjoy playing against teams like this. All you got to do is just problem solve a little bit, especially if it's a dead ball situation from a goal kick and they're doing a high press, which they've done 2-3 times. It just might be, instead of playing out to one of your back four, can you play a little bit longer just into one of your midfield areas just to beat that initial press. All of a sudden then Millwall have got to drop back, and then you can start playing out from the back. But again, these are little problems you've got to solve throughout the game. Obviously you'll be getting instructions from Carlos Cobra and Danny Schofield on the sidelines, what to do, when to play, but they put a lot of onus on the players to solve these themselves, and this is what makes good players, and it's about the learning development as well. A lot of young players, the two centre halves, the young up and coming. So it'll be a good test against two strikers who've started well for Millwall.
Certainly have, and let's hope Hazana can continue. Just working the arm and trying to get a bit more movement in it, and I think you might have at least have a go at trying to carry on. So a bit of stoppage time needed at the end of this first half, and hopefully Leeds will be in the lead by then. Referee just explaining to Pascal Struick what he wants him to do from the restart, and Price will be called onto the field as Meslier starts the move. He's getting into some good positions going forward. Zana's good to go. That nasty fall. Here is McCalmont in the middle of the park, trying to pull the strings in that holding midfielder role. Good work from Robbie Gotts to sidestep his way through.
He was excellent last season as well, Robbie Gotts, wasn't he? Really grew into the year as it went on. Another player could play 2-3 positions.
Yeah, never looked out of place in any of them either, did he? Which was equally as impressive as some of the other teammates that did the same. Shackleton as well. So it is that man now on the ball, waiting for Gotts to come give him a helping hand. Gotts takes his time for assessing the options. Helder Costa was the first target, so Stevens is the preferred option though. Leeds now trying to pass their way through this Millwall defence. It's been pretty slick, this move so far. Really good ball out from Stevens. Alioski has to check his run. That should be a foul. And Leeds get a free kick. But again, once Leeds start to turn it on a little bit with the crisper passing, Millwall look in a little bit of bother. It's a good free kick position now. Clark's going to take it. Alioski's allowing him to do so. It'll be a two-man wall for the Lions, but it's a great ball forward from Stevens.
First real time he's kind of dropped a little bit shorter. 2-3 times I've seen him try and have little sprints in behind, utilise his speed, but he's dropped into that little hole there, and it's good clever play because then you get runners off him. Nearly created something then.
Yeah, Clark now waiting to take the set piece, which is all the way out on that far side. One to forget about for Jack Clark. Sanford to take this latest goal kick. Halfway through this first half here at Thorp Arch. As the ball is going to be played into the path of Alexander. A pinball in the middle of midfield. Elliott gets it on that far side. Topoloy now under pressure from Costa and from Stevens. Rush back pass. Stevens is going to really put Sanford under pressure. That was Harry Ransom with the ball back. Elliott keeps moving from right to left. He just slipped on the surface, looks down at the floor as if he trod in a divot there. Ben mentioned and highlighted his threats. He's already had a pretty good start, but Struick gives the ball away. I mentioned that earlier on, that they're just letting themselves down, but Struick comes flying across. Really good tackle, and pretty much the most perfect way to make amends for your bad pass back.
It certainly is. And he had to make that challenge, to be fair, because I think we just switched off ever so slightly from that throw-in. And again, Biru nearly down in the right-hand side, but Struick, great strong challenge. Centre-halves love those.
Well played from Leeds again in defence as Gotts, as Ben mentioned, comes across yet again out of position and wins the ball back. Elliott tries to keep it in. Hazana gets to it. Nice. Wonderful footwork from Helder Costa, who now will start a Leeds attack. And Stevens needs a bit more help. Costa's going to go try and give him that attacking line and just can't keep it in play. And with Stevens being the centre forward, him being out of position, it was always going to be difficult to keep the move going. But again, seeing a glimpse of that footwork that Helder Costa will bring to this Leeds 23's team, the starting 11 as well, Ben, made that look far too easy.
Like I said there, Tom, his footwork's just, it's dazzling, to be honest. It's too much for championship players, so you think it'd be a bit too much for under 23 players. So the good thing about Costa, though, he doesn't try anything out of the ordinary. He just keeps playing to his own game, does the basics, and the basics for him is a lot more than for most players. But the good thing here, he gets into positions, just tries to beat his man, and when the pass is on simple, he'll let it off simple.
Struick, a long range ball over the top and gets too much on it, and the Leeds passes from defence have been a bit wayward. Throw in to come from Dan Moss, just short of 25 minutes in. Elliott is the target. Struick's trying to stop him. Alexander wanted to take a quick throw in. Alpha McCalmont does the right thing by trying to stop it, but a free kick. Is it free kick maybe? No. He's just given the throw in. Elliott wanted the free kick for the contact with Struick. Nothing given. Leeds marking up in defence. Header up in the air by Struick as well, and say Millwall perhaps looking a little bit more organised. They'll play together a bit more. They've already played a league game. That 1-1 draw with Burnley. Leeds certainly looking the better of the two teams when they're actually on the attack and free flowing through the middle of midfield. There is Bury trying to drop off and help out a teammate in Ruben Duncan. Another throw in, a bit stop-start for the last few minutes or so here at Thorp Arch. Dan Moss again looking like he wants to go long to Tom Elliott. Flick towards the edge of the 6-yard box, and Struick will clear. Good clearance as well to say that Elliott was breathing down his neck. Zana gets a little touch to it, not enough to get it past Bury. Drilled in low. Good defending from, I think it's McCalmont that's put his body on the line.
Yeah, he did really well there, Alfie McCalmont. Did well just to get goal side of his marker.
Dropping into the third centre-back as Leeds concede yet another free kick. A tough little spell this for him at the moment, Ben.
Yeah, like I say, he's gone a little bit scrappy. I think every time we've had the ball last 5 minutes or so, we've tried to just force the pass, whether it's been a diagonal one or we've tried to just turn people in behind, where I think when it gets a bit like that and you haven't had a spell for a couple of minutes, it's just important just to get your foot on the ball and just have a little simple few passes, even if it's just around the back four, just to keep hold of possession and just take the sting out of the game, because I think this is what Millwall want, a bit of a scrappy game, and they can build up into the set pieces.
Duncan to take the free kick with plenty of bodies forward. Float it towards Elliott, and nobody really got a touch to that from a Leeds shirt, so it will be a goal kick. And I say the start of a busy week this here on LUTV. We do have Wednesday's action, of course, against Brentford, but before that we'll have the pre-Brentford press conference with Marcelo Bielsa. That's coming, of course, tomorrow, which is Tuesday. That'll be followed by Wednesday's 7:45 game against Brentford, live on LUTV. But all the action and the coverage starts from 7 p.m. Available worldwide to get your match passes on the website for that latest championship game against the Bees. The ball just going to be run out of play by Jack Clark. Duncan appears to have come to this right-hand side for the time being. He's just being made to work a little bit harder to get the ball back, and Millwall's first team play a bit more stop-start, don't they? They're a bit of a rough and tough team, very effective. The 23 side certainly playing a similar sort of style as Bury gets the ball. Topoloy with a chance to cross towards Elliott. Struick puts him off his stride though, and there's Kunn with a header. Clark beaten to it by Moss. Majowski goes across to cover, and it's offside against Millwall's Tom Elliott. Struick's doing pretty well though so far to handle Tom Elliott. Of course, they might be quite similar in height, but the age difference is big enough. He's pretty fully grown, as you say. He's played loads of games, League One and the Championship. So a fantastic test for Pascal this today. Yeah,
and he did really well at the back post there. He just knew he didn't have to win the header. He just had to put his body into Tom Elliott just to put him off getting a clean contact on the ball. And you're right. I always find when you're a young defender, you come against these experienced strikers within the under-23s. It's a fantastic learning curve, but we saw how well we did as defenders last year. Struick in particular, Bryce Lozano playing at centre-half. Such a fantastic learning curve as you develop your game against these high-quality strikers. And like I said, Tom has plenty of experience.
Yeah, Gunn just steps away, but then gives the ball straight away back to Millwall. This could be half a chance for Leeds, though. Majowski to Clark. Clark just gets there ahead of the midfielder Duncan to keep the possession in Leeds' favour. Good work from Stevens, but the pass, Majowski didn't have enough curl on the ball and just couldn't get it in between. And Struick comes across, takes that touch, and assesses his options, and really smart play once again from Leeds' defender. As there is McCalmont now driving out through the middle of midfield. That's the first time he's had a lot of room to carry it, and it's a really worked 1-2 between Kunn and Stevens, but pass looking for Shackleton. Alexander steps offside, and when they're going for the middle, Leeds, Ben, it becomes very, very hard for Millwall to stop them, and it's just a case of getting that final ball right.
And it is. But the pass is only on through the middle when you move it quick. If you take a few extra touches, that's when they can get set. But when we have moved it at a tempo, it's very hard for the midfield too, for Millwall to kind of get into position and cut that ball off into that number 10 channel.
Yeah, great work from McCalmont, and Kunn's pass is too far behind, and really good movement from McCalmont. He has somebody nipping away at his heels at all times when he had the ball last, and Did enough to get away as Hosanna goes out towards Gotts. He's working across the back four and now finally intercut. That's better from him. Calmont now with a little chip over the top. And Alioski brings under control, looks for Stevens, who heads towards goal and just can't direct it in. Looks skywards in frustration, but great run from Stevens to get away from his marker. The Millwall defender was nowhere to be seen. Really good ball as well from Alioski.
Yeah, it's dangerous for Millwall to leave Alioski out on the left-hand side with all that space and time, because just gets his head up, puts a great little cross in, and I think just Stevens just tried to guide it a little bit too much instead of just trying to put his bit more power onto it. But probably the best chance we've created for like another last 15-20 minutes or so. But again, good positive build-up play, a little diagonal pass out to Alioski, great cross in. He just tried to guide it a bit too much instead of kind of putting a bit more power into his header, did Stevens. But it was a good build-up play.
Yeah, lesson learned for him. It perhaps leads his most fluid move of the match as the ball is worked to Alioski from the Calmont, and he can drive forward. The best touch from Kunn. It's deflected into Clark's path though. Chance to run to captain Debra into Alioski. They've got options to shoot. Shackleton, just over the bar. And it's tipped over by Ryan Sanford. Really good fingertip save, because that looked goal bound. And Shackleton, well, I thought was just going to try and go again, bend towards the right-hand side and keep the move going, but he whipped his foot around the ball and was so close to opening the scoring.
Yeah, I thought he was going to hit it first time, and when he took a touch, I was with you, Tom. I thought he was going to play it out towards Helder Costa, or just keep it moving out to the right-back position. But when he's left his foot, I think he's celebrating, but great save.
Taken short, and McCalmont rises the challenge again. Has to try and scrap away to keep possession. Leeds his best option is to win a throw-in, though, high up the pitch. First real chance to see Sanford under pressure in the Millwall goal. And he was a match to it from that effort from Shackleton. Alioski now in possession. Kunner's dropped deep in that number 10 shirt. Clark. Floating cross, headed up in the air. Can they keep it in, Millwall? They're going to certainly try to. They headed away. That time it was high ransom. Clark takes it quickly though. Alioski maybe shooting space for him. Goes sideways into Stevens. He might fancy a drive. Nobody at the minute can get the required space though, so they'll start again with Gotts, Shackleton. There is Helder Costa running at Topoloy. He's had a really tough afternoon to try and handle him so far. Leeds staying composed. Shackleton asking a lot of Costa to keep it in, which he really does well to do so. Excellent. Then he plays a ball to Shackleton. Better back heel this time. This will be some goal if Leeds can finish it off. Gotts towards the far post, and he was just trying to find a percentage ball into the area to another white shirt who can maybe head it home. And maybe Robbie Gotts might regret not going for goal. He got a couple of goals last season.
Yep.
Never gets too carried away, does he, when we ask him in interviews how he thought he played, but kept it simple. And that time, maybe should have been a bit more selfish.
Maybe, but it's first real sustained bit of pressure we've had for a while. Just pinning Millwall back, very hard, finding it hard to get out now. I'd just say have a bit more composure in the final third. Just you don't have to force things when you get them in that positions, but the signs are good. It's making Millwall panic, kind of defending a little bit rash when they're clearing the ball. We're just building and recycling the attack.
Yeah, Straight was just trying to cushion that into another white shirt. Just couldn't keep it under control as Ransom goes long all the way down over the top, and Alexander wins a throw-in. He's got a late touch to that as Topoloy will take. And Duncan work the 1-2. Leeds must get close to him as he has a shot. Meslier keeps it under wraps and just gets behind the ball before bundling it towards Clark. Nice little cushion pass over the top to Alioski, and Leeds have started a real good counter-attack here. Kunn wanted the ball inside. It's going to be looped up all the way out towards Costa. And once again, we'll keep the ball in play. into Shackleton. Oh, he just couldn't stick his leg out long enough to keep it in. But really good work for Leeds, and within what, 3 passes, 3 touches, Meslier, Clark and Alioski and Leeds were already in the final third of Millwall, and that's what this team out there today can do. Galmont kept showing that if he wanted to try and find Gotts. Less than 10 minutes to go now until half time. Still goalless as Costa tried to change that with a little more ordering run. Looked for Kun, who was a bit flat-footed. Interception though from Hazana. Now Leeds starting to dominate. Nothing really coming back from Millwall. Ben mentioned a few seconds ago that the first real bit of sustained pressure, and everybody now inside the Millwall half in a blue shirt as Shackleton tries to work the ball into a good position with Kun, who rise the challenge. Now with Clark. Clark now going all the way through the team. There comes Mihayov, and he might have had to take one for the team on the end of the right foot there as he went for goal. He's won a corner. Just thought Clark was going to go for goal, but then he went sideways, and again, this is much, much better from Leeds. Alioski will take the set piece. It's not a very productive one as it goes straight towards the man at the near post. Loop back up. Now can Alioski get the better of Millwall? He can. Into the box he goes, steps inside. Can he cut the ball back? There it is. So Struick and Leeds take the lead. And it's Jani Alioski that finds the ball into the Leeds centre-back. The captain for the day celebrates with his teammates. And Leeds 1-0 up inside the 38th minute. And as you say, Ben, take the words right out of my mouth. What an excellent finish that is from a centre-back.
It was, but all started with Alioski. His presence and attacking threat throughout this first half has been growing and growing as long as the half has been going on. And it was him out on the left-hand side. Just got to it before the Millwall defender just nicked it. But then he drove into the box. And I was thinking, come on, pull the trigger yourself. But as I hear, just got a little toe into it. Played it back from Shackleton. Got inside, I think, hit it with your right, but had the presence, had the quality to find a teammate in a better position, Struick. And he made that finish look easy. There's been plenty of times when people can scuff those kind of chances, but just passed it into the far corner. And no more deserved over the last 10 minutes because the pressure had been building, been having a lot of territory, a lot of possession in the final third in Millwall, and the goal's been justified.
He's going to get more goals than last year.
That's it, he'll go on a run now. He loved it going a little goal scoring run, didn't he, last season?
Yeah, watch out for that. He was in the 4 or 5 games in a row that he scored as Leeds almost gets Stevens in behind, and he just slips. He tries to step backwards to control Alioski's pass, who's finding more and more space down the left touchline. 6 minutes before end of regulation time in this first half. We might get a bit of stoppage time after Bright Hazana went off for a minute or two for a bit of a shoulder problem, but all good from Leeds. And as the half's gone on, they've got better going forward, and now really, really good move from Alioski, as Ben mentioned. Leeds on top in their first game of this Professional Development League 23s campaign. All over the top, and good communication from Leeds. Meslier telling everyone where he wants them. So eventually he brings the ball under control and will go across to find Struick. This man's been influential as well, Arthur McCalmont, feeling his way into the game. There's so much space, he wants to go use it. Instead he goes to Costa, who's just come in from the touchline. Low and drilled pass. Alioski just can't keep it under control, but he will hop his way over the ball before that clearance from Moss. Going to need a new ball here. As the ball's bundled its way over towards the car park at Thorp Arch. Alioski will take this throw in. He's in a good position if they can work it to Clark, which they do. Now one-on-one with the defender. Space to shoot, right-footed. Keeper spills it. Stevens can't bring it under control. And Sanford gets away with a good touch away at first. Perhaps could have done better with his second save. He's denied Shackleton earlier on. That one, I think from a goalkeeping coach's point of view, to push it straight back to the striker will be criticised, but Leeds again just stepping up through the gears and causing Millwall problems. Here is Gotts now to McCalmont, who again is just getting a few more touches. This man's certainly doing the same as well. He tries a bit of a fancy flick, it doesn't come off, but he's certainly enjoying himself out there. Gianni Alioski. Millwall looking a bit more, I won't say leggy might be a bit strong, Ben, but looking a little bit more jaded, a little bit more tired in some parts. Not as fluid, are they, with their ball retention? They were winning more of the second balls up front.
Yeah, we saw that a lot last season as well. Teams work ever so hard and they have to stay switched on because we get in again.
Yeah, ball across the face of goal for Stevens, who gets a touch to it. He wasn't expecting to see that pass because the Millwall defence had him covered. And it's going to go out for a goal kick, and he just looks a little bit disappointed himself, Jordan Stevens. And I think, again, just getting used to that central position of, normally he's the man that's getting the assists and getting in behind and cutting the ball back. This time he had to stay alert, and it's unfortunate there. Millwall player, I don't think intended to give him a free touch, but it's what he did.
We have to say the link-up play with Jack Clarke-Alioski has been frightening so far. Millwall are really struggling on the right-hand side. They don't know whether to pass the runners on, go tight to people. They're causing loads of threat. And same on the right-hand side with Robbie Gotts, Helder Costa. We're talking about high-quality players here, and just doing the basics well. And it's good for our young players to see, like, when every time the first-team players or players with plenty of experience drop in to play with under-23s, they'll gain so much good habits off these guys because they do the right things in the right areas.
Yeah, we've got a break here. Tyler Bure has picked up a head injury. We hope he's okay. He seems to be. Another reminder, of course, of what's to come on LUTV this week. This is the first game of the PDL North campaign here at Thorp Arch this Monday. Tomorrow we'll have Marcelo Bielsa's press conference here on LUTV ahead of that game against Brentford. And then the match on Wednesday, all the build-up from 7 o'clock for that 7:45 kick-off. As here is Shackleton bursting into the box, trying to find Jack Clarke, who will keep this ball in play. Gets a touch off Moss, and looked like Moss had taken it out of play. Clarke, he stood still in total shock at the call from the linesman on the far side. I always find it pretty interesting how they can see through two goalpost netting. I thought Moss had taken that last touch there, Ben.
Well, from our angle, it definitely looked like it should have been a corner. And by Jack Clarke's reaction, he thought the same, but unfortunately not. But the good thing about him, though, is always positive. He can dip onto his right, his left. We talk about he just glides over the pitch. He's proved it so far in this first half.
One ball forward, and Hosanna does well to put his body in the way, and Meslier will pick up the pieces. Gotts now striding forward into Costa. Now with Shackleton. Leeds have got plenty of bodies in the box. Looped in, just takes a deflection, and it's going to go behind for a corner. And for a second it looked as if it was going to just loop in play and be stuck into the back of the net by Kun Mihailov, but not to be. Alioski will work his way across to take the corner. Shackleton wants to go short. Leeds have done well here. Millwall caught a little cold. It's now with Gotts. Tries to get it out of his feet, looped it to the far post. Moss will head clear. Alexander cool as a cucumber as he keeps that under control. It's pretty impressive as Leeds were getting back in numbers. Here is Duncan. It's Bure, should I say. Good work from Robbie Gotts as well. Just always at arm's length, making sure he didn't feel too comfortable there. Stevens putting the pressure on, and the keeper Sanford has launched this one straight out of play. Alexander slipped over just in front of us, and Alioski will take the throw in quickly. So into stoppage time now in the first half. It's been a solid start to the PDL North campaign from Leeds United. Calmont up and over the top. A confusing header back. Debrat telling his keeper he had to come for that. I think he's right as well. The keeper had to make some serious ground if he wanted to go get that ball. So the Leeds have one last bit of play, one last chance to attack. Got into the mix and looking for Kun. And a bounce. Alioski will get a second chance to drive it into the area. Goes across the face of goal. Headed back out for a throw-in. The referee decided that that is the end of the first half. So Leeds will lead at Thorp Arch here by 1-0. Pascal Struik's neat finish in the 38th minute from Gianni Alioski crosses the difference. Shackleton's gone close. Meslier has looked good in goal as well. And join myself, Tom Hill and Ben Parker for second half commentary in around 15-20 minutes time.
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you.
Welcome back to LUTV's coverage of this Professional Development League Under 23s game here at Thorp Arch. Leeds taking on Millwall. And it looks like we've had a change or two. Certainly had one for Millwall. Gaetano Berardi looks like he's just stepped onto the park. As has Burgess and Eddie Nketiah. So we'll get the changes for you. In terms of Millwall, looks as if Tom Elliott's gone off. Harvey Bradbury's gone on. Who's confirmed any more for Millwall? So Jack Clark's come across to this right-hand side, which suggests that perhaps, of course, as expected, we're going to get two different sort of styles from Carlos Colbrand's side in this game. 2 minutes of 45. Jordan Stevens gone out to the left, and Nketiah straight away putting the pressure on. So myself, Tom Hill, and Ben Parker providing the commentary for you. And of course, just trying to work out the changes that have been made. So it looks as if Alioski is off. Gaetano Berardi is on, Ben. And then we've got Clark and Stevens still out there. There's also as well. So Clark out to the right. Here comes Kun coming forward, but he's stopped in the tackle. One ball forward. Out comes Meslier and just adjusts his body for scooping up out into the stands.
Yeah, good goalkeeping that by Meslier. Good starting position. And that's what we need. If we have a high line, we need as goalkeeper to be on his toes, just to play that sweeper keeper kind of role and just clear any danger that goes over the top. But with the changes we made, Berardi gone into the left back position, and we've got Mateus Burgess going into that kind of midfield kind of role where he'll just. It's almost like a box-to-box kind of player from what we've seen of him from last season. He loves his defensive duties, but he also loves getting forward, trying to involve himself in the attacking build-up. And then Nketiah, obviously, a lot of excitement about him. Got his first goal at Salford last week in the Cup, so he'll just be trying to get another 45 minutes and hopefully add to that goal he got.
So the other change will be Shackleton off for Burgess. And Nketiah has come on for Helder Costa. Here is Berardi. Stevens to the byline. Can only hammer it against the railings around the outside. Hits the post as he then, of course, brings the ball back towards Sanford in goal. And Nketiah through the middle. A good chance for him to, of course, get another goal or two after netting his first in that first team game against Salford. Another fine performance from him on that night. Sanford does take the goal kick. Ball back into the middle of midfield, and it is scooped back by Billy Mitchell. There is Sanford again. Headed up in the air by Berardi. Kun's going to try and get to the next header and does. The referee, though, suggests he's gone through the back of his man to win the ball, and Millwall will get... in fact, they've actually given a free kick. We perhaps could have asked for the advantage there, as here comes Clark into Gotts. Gotts is going to spin away. McCalmont, really good work there. McCalmont, will he have a drive? He tries to prod it into Nketiah, and just maybe again a bit more selfish. Could have had a go with the left boot, but tried to play in his teammates. Millwall will clear their lines, and there is Pascal Struik again, just marshalling the defence. And new man for Millwall, Harvey Bradbury, yet to touch the ball. as here is Gunn. So at the end of the first half, Leeds were on top and dominating. They're going to do the same again in the second as Clark tries to get past his man. Handball claims against Bezat Topoloy. And a free kick given, and an intentional handball according to the referee, Ben. So a good free kick opportunity for Leeds, and well, Topoloy adjudged to have done that on purpose.
Yeah, like I said, Tom finished the half really well, and we've started this half superbly. We've been on the front foot, just passing at a really good tempo again, and that's what we did ever so well in the first half when we looked good. We moved the ball really well. We didn't force things with just little simple passes, and we're just moving the Millwall defence, the midfield, like the two holding guys as well. And that's all you got to do against teams like this.
Clark has Gotts just inside him. Isn't going to use him though. Cross takes a deflection out towards Bogusz on that far side. It's going to be worked out towards Clark again, who's come away. A strong tackle comes in. It's that Alexander that's put his foot in where it hurts. And with Bright as Hannah once more. Gotts is clipped to the floor. Millwall, a few more challenges coming in. They're trying to unsettle Leeds with them, and that was a bit naughty from Ruben Duncan. Didn't really need to chop Gotts down. He felt the back of the hamstring as a result, but it's there. I guess it's the most effective way to not let a team get into any sort of rhythm is to continue to foul them. Of course, the card count will start to grow though. Leeds go down the left, headed down the line, and it's flicked straight out for a Millwall throw-in. Stevens on the left, Clark on the right for now, but don't be surprised to see them two swap around again. Headed up into the air by Struick. He claims it was a throw-in to Leeds, but not given. Headed up in the air by Struick. Alexander goes down, and Leeds, thanks to the work from Alpha McCalmont, Ben, win a throw-in, but could have taken maybe 5-10 minutes for this the team to settle down a little bit. The new front three, Nketiah has gone down the middle. Stevens had been doing that, and maybe takes 5 or 10 minutes. Of course, Bogusz yet to get a touch on the ball, but we know what he will do once he eventually does start to take control in midfield.
Yeah, he's very busy in midfield, like all our midfield players are. They work ever so hard off the ball, create space for themselves, create space for the teammates, the runners off the ball, and it's a natural fit for Bogusz, just going to that little role in behind Nketiah, up with Kun as well.
Ball out towards Berardi, looking for Kun. Good little drag back from him, inside ball looking for either Stevens or Nketiah. Here is Bogusz once more, tries to thread the ball through, and Calmont tries to stop Bradbridge. It's worked out towards the right-hand side, but really good defending again from Struick. There is the looping pass out to the far right-hand side, and Clark's going to do his utmost to keep it in, which he does. Goes past Topoloy, of course, now can't dive in after that yellow card for handball. Into the box looking for Kun, who flies out of nowhere to try and meet it. And Ben Moss is, Dan Moss, should I say, is put under so much pressure. No one gives him a helping hand, and he just launches the ball out for a corner under no real pressure, but really good leap there from Kun Mihailov. Nketiah was the man standing still after watching his teammate come flying over the top of him. Gotts now on the far side, ready to take this set piece. We've got Stevens and Clark on the edge of the box. It's to the near post. It's flicked towards goal by Berardi. Similar position to the goal he scored against Salford, but now Leeds have got some defending to do. Really great
defending
work from Bryce Azana. Will have managed to get the bounce, and the pass shouldn't really be made. They had enough space to keep running with that. There is Menzies there from Struick, and Pascal Struick was at the end of the pitch trying to score a second or two ago. Leeds still scrambling again. Struick flies across, hasn't put a foot wrong so far today. 2 or 3 tackles have been inch perfect. He of course scored the goal, and he's organising things so well back there, the Leeds number 5. And of course for him, and for the 23, is another example of a player that could be pushing into that first team picture this year. Gaetano Berardi now on the ball. Into the first 10 minutes of this second half of the PDL North game as Hazana goes towards Kun Mihailov. Gets his way out of trouble towards Clark. Gotts is asking for it in the middle. Clark goes and finds him. Nketiah now towards a narrow angle, shoots for goal and just into the side netting. I think the free kick had perhaps been given anyway for offside. Yeah, it has. But trying to find the most impossible gap. Eddie Nketiah there, Ben, to try and have a go at goal, and just shows the confidence that he's willing to go from there rather than turn around and pass.
He's so bright in the box. He's just one of those strikers where he comes alive, tries to sniff out any opportunity he can get. He unfortunately just got offside, but there's just like a little insight what he tries to do. Ball tries to get Fred down the side. His movement and his burst of speed off the mark is second to none. Like I said, unfortunately just got offside, but we'll be looking to utilise his little movement, just going in behind centre halves, in between full-backs.
Yeah, Leeds concede the free kick here, which Ruben Duncan's going to take. Everyone back, pretty much apart from Nketiah. Good punch from Meslier, comes flying off his line. And he finds halfway and Stevens gets across, so good start to the second half for Ilan Meslier, the new Leeds keeper.
I think a great decision with that. Again, takes all the pressure off your centre halves, your defenders, and just clears the danger, no problem.
Yeah, Leeds concede a throw-in. Stewart just getting a touch of that to try and mark Harvey Bradbury. Dan Moss, the man preparing to take the throw-in. Bradbury, his target again. He's flicked the ball back towards Beret. Calmonts, Duncan. Interception from Clark. Now Clark can drive forward. He takes the pass and it's a really
Great
good ball
pass
for Stevens. Splits the defence across to Nketiah. This will be some goal, and Leeds take another strike towards the victory. 2-0 up now here at Thorp Arch, and that is absolutely brilliant. The ball forward from Clark to Stevens, and Eddie Nketiah in the right position once again this week, and Leeds lead by 2, Ben. What a goal.
Nketiah does what he does best, gets himself into those positions. His goal there, very similar to the one like Salford, but what I love about it, he's in the right place at the right time. But huge credit to Jack Clark. Great positive, driving through the middle of the pitch. Release Jordan Stevens. You have to say to Jordan Stevens, on his so-called weaker left side, puts a great ball in across the 6-yard line. And like I said, Nketiah just comes alive anytime the ball's in and around the opposition box. And right place, right time. Great finish by him as well.
Exactly that. Really good ball from Stevens, as Ben mentioned on the side, that he is hoping to improve this year. Traditionally right-footed and perfectly weighted. Good to see Nketiah, albeit in a 23s game here today, in the right spot at the right time, pushing for that first-team spot alongside Patrick Bamford. Of course, now 3 goals for the season. All good signs for the strikers so far for Leeds, as Hazana's going to burst towards halfway, and Mihailov just caught in a little bit of traffic in midfield. Polished out by McCalmont, and again Leeds just trying to up the tempo. In possession. Calmont once more. Berardi tries to play it inside to Nketiah, who just dropped off the shoulder. Leeds win a throw-in. To McCallum, to Nketiah. Now will he find more space to shoot? Stevens floats it towards Gotts. Brave attempt at the header. Topoloy brought down, and the referee suggesting it was a foul from Gotts. I mean, both players going for it. Topoloy perhaps just coming off second best, maybe got nudged from behind, but I still thought Gotts was having every intention, Ben, to go for the goal. He wasn't trying to foul his man. I think it's a bit harsh, personally, but still 2-0.
Yeah, but again, another situation where Stephen gets the ball out his left-hand side. Instead of cutting back onto his stronger right foot, He sensed an opportunity to put a ball into the box early doors with his left, and nearly came off for him. But it's a good play that by Stephen, just mixing his game up.
Here is Nketiah again. Great footwork from him and strength and body control to just marshal his way past several players. And the pass was on a few times. I think he just wanted a bit more of a touch on the ball, as there is Berardi to Struik. Out towards Hazana. Gotts is going to try and get to it. Can't keep the ball in Leeds' possession. Bryce Hazana comes across and concedes the throw in and just takes a bit more time out of the move. In fact, it's a Leeds ball, and he does well to take possession with him, make sure he can then offer an angle for the throw in. There's Berardi down the line to Stevens, just a little bit short of his wide man. Berardi now takes that throw-in into Pascal Struik. Gotts just trods on the ball. A rare mistake from Leeds number 2. Now he's going to battle to try and get it back, with Duncan coming in behind. Alexander, he's offside. It hits the post anyway. And Leeds get away with one. Robbie Gotts, of course, as I say, Ben, never normally a man to step up and make an error. He's normally so assured, but it can happen.
Yeah, but anytime you do make a little bit of a lapse in concentration there, it's important that you have a good reaction, and there's nobody better than Robbie Gotts' reactions. He's honest as the day, as long as the lad. And look, everyone's going to make mistakes as how you react to him, and to be fair, he got back in and just probably forced the pass a little bit, which caused the offside.
Yeah, as we see a substitution here. Jaden Davis is entering the game. Can't quite see who he replaced. Meslier goes towards Nketiah. Great strength from Nketiah. Good work from Clark again. He goes cross-field, and Stevens is going to try and get under that pass. He's going to handle possession. He's going to go out of play for a goal kick anyway. The bubble took it away from Stevens. Now past the hour mark here at Thorp Arch. Leeds still leading by 2-0, as you can see. And if you missed the first half, Pascal Struik scored in the 38th minute from a fine run and pass from Alioski. And the move of the match. If this can be beaten, it'll take some beating at least. It'll be some goal if Leeds can add a third. And it was Sam Skeffington, by the way, that went off for Jaden Davis. So that graphic confirms, but Leeds come again with Kun Mihailov. That move, Clark, Stevens and then Nketiah were involved in making it 2. Can they add a third here? Stevens, it's a really good ball into Clark. They're at it again. Clark for goal, but it's saved down towards the near post from Sanford. But you can probably hear Ben alongside me getting a little bit excited, because that ball from Stevens to Clark was so good, and then Clark turning in the box and going for goal, and those two looking really up for it. Before I bring you in, Ben, just a reminder of our coverage tomorrow on LUTV, the pre-match Brentford press conference with Marcelo Bielsa on LUTV tomorrow. That's Tuesday, of course. And don't forget, on Wednesday, the midweek clash between Leeds United and Brentford at Ellen Road. It's a 7:45 kick-off, but all the build-up from 7 p.m. And, of course, that game available worldwide. So go to the website for your match passes for that game, as Leeds look to continue that fine start to the Championship season. But for a second there, Ben, I thought we'd got enough space to go and get a third here.
Same as you, Tom. Great ball by Stevens. Just really wrapped it in. And there's what was on about early in the half, mixing his game up. A couple of times gone with his left, but this time coming back on into his right. Drifting in. Instead of going for the shot from 25 yards out, really fizzed a pass into that space. And that's where intelligent players do. They mix the game up and you get the runners off the ball. It's hard for defenders to get set, because they think they'll check the shoulder, they'll see the striker and they think they're fine, but it's the midfield runners that cause problems for opposition. Always on the move, always trying to create angles.
Yeah, good work again from Struik, by the way, in that little tussle. Here is Meslier. Goes out towards Berardi. It's in towards Gunnar Mihailov, who just wants a helping hand. He's straight away back on the attack as Anna goes cross-field and leads Bugish a little bit too much to do. A bit more space for Millwall as Leeds' midfield just opens up a little. I say that McCallum comes across, he gets caught by Bradbury, and a bit of a needless tackle by Bradbury, and referee wants a word. I think he wants a word with the couple. Is it the captain? Maybe he wants a word with the Millwall players as they feel that the contact's a bit too strong, the referee today, but he's certainly tried to talk to a number of Millwall players, and Alfie McCalmont, he knows the tackle's coming, which is a good thing, so he can maybe prepare himself for it, Ben. It's just a little bit naughty. I know the 23 is still an important concept, but that's what the referee seems to be saying to him, that it's just a little bit needless. That.
The main thing, Alfie's seen it relatively early, so he could just ride it at the last second, just so he didn't get clattered any more than he actually did. But now he's back on the ball, and I can see when they got the two strikers up, he drops into that kind of central defence area, just to create an extra number and gets the ball moving.
Yeah, which is very important as Leeds just lose possession. Nketiah can't get on the end of that pass, then they win it straight back from the high press. A throw-in given to Leeds, which Berardi will take. It's to Struik as there Berardi gets back on the ball. Walking pace from Leeds at present. Anna back towards Meslier, the left-footed keeper. Confident enough to go for a midfield attempted ball over the top, and it went too far away from Stevens. Dan Moss had his work cut out in the first half as the Millwall defender against Shali Alioski and Jack Clark. It hasn't got any easier with the pace of Stevens in the second as Millwall clear. And Duncan can't keep it in, and Leeds will get a throw in now. Just in front of us as they look for a third, which would be very confident of killing the game off. They'll be very confident of keeping the scoreline at this as well. Nobody trying to concede, start the season in fine style. Nketiah causing a problem for the Millwall defence, and he wins a free kick. Really good play, gets on the inside. And it was the number 6, which is Harry Ransom, that just couldn't handle the pace or the turn from Eddie Nketiah there, Ben.
Yeah, we spoke about Nketiah coming alive in the box, and almost like a fox in the box type of striker where he sniffs out chances, but the other part of his game is so impressive as well, where balls come up to him. He's big, he's strong, he looks after the ball, wins free kicks like he's just on here, or he keeps it simple. Real all-round type of striker.
Yeah, Clark to take the latest set piece. He goes low and hard. It's going to deflect off the Millwall man and behind for a corner. I think Clark will probably volunteer to take. Bit of a breeze now at this side of the pitch. You can see by the corner flag as Clark goes for a floating cross. It's just going to be flicked away by Millwall. A turn from Bogus as he goes towards goal. Tipped away. Still not fully clear from Millwall's point of view. Leeds can add to the pressure for a third. Clark ignores Gotts's run. There is Kuhn. Back to Clark now. The man that took the shots, which was Bogus, and now McCalmont gives the ball away and Millwall will recover. But Leeds putting the pressure on there. The keeper getting a good hand to it, in all fairness, Ben. As Leeds step up now. Struik's got some work to do to get to Alexander, and now Burry's in behind. Gotts has now got to come across. And Robbie Gotts was the furthest man forward a few seconds ago after having his run ignored, and the fitness levels and the pace that he possesses gets him back into the right position, and as Ben mentioned, just nudges his man off the ball. Leeds will restart, and again another evidence of what Robbie Gotts can bring to, well, any team can play centre midfield, right back, left back, down both flanks as a midfielder as well. But it's his fit energy that seems to never ever falter.
Yeah, his fitness levels are through the roof. So fit, so sharp. But the good thing about his defending there, instead of trying to nick the ball in front of his man, which would have been a dangerous thing to do because all his marker had to do was just roll him and he'd have been in on goal, but it just held him off and just showed him and had him where he wanted him. And the number 11 there for for Millwall. Duncan didn't have anywhere to go at all, but real good defenders. Like I said, kept him at arm's length.
He was there again on the attack as he takes this throw in. Clark to Struick, to Berardi. Inside towards Bogusz, but there's Berardi again. Nketiah is just a little bit too far behind the Polish midfielder. So close for Leeds. Gots again getting back to put pressure on Duncan, who just fires it over the top. And it's going to be too hot for Alexander. And it trickles out on the far side. Pascal Struick again just marshalling him, making sure he was marked heavily. Been some impressive performances. I think Struick is still one of the best, though, for me out there in terms of the early man of the match vote, Ben. We've got 20 minutes to go for you to maybe decide. I'll ask you in 10 or 15 minutes, but Struick, one of the leading candidates, if not the candidate for me today.
Has been strong, but it's been a good partnership with him and Bryce Hosanna. They've dealt with the threat with Tom Elliott in the first half. But it's these little areas where it's good, like they've moved the ball quick. They haven't dallied on the ball where they've allowed Millwall to get set into the shape. It's been hard to break down. They've won the duels and then they set off again.
Corner to Leeds as well. Good work from Nketiah into that channel, putting the pressure on. It's steered behind by Jesse Deborah, the Millwall captain, who looks around in bewilderment at his team, wants to know why they're not helping him out. Gott's hinting at a short corner, but nothing given by Clark. No hint of a pass, and wait for the ball towards that far post. Keeper comes and decides against it at the last second as Berardi heads up and out of play behind the goal. Leeds in total control of the game. Again, if you missed the first half commentary, myself, Tom Hill and Ben Parker are here on LUTV. This is the first game for Leeds in the PDL North. A couple of teams, Hull have played 2 games, West Ham have played 1. While it might be a slow start for Leeds, it soon builds up. Plenty of games to come for the 23s as they look to defend their title, both the North and then the National Crown. It was Mitchell in midfield. Scoops up in the air, and Struick will deal with it. Stevens will keep it in, and he's really brave, Stevens. He knows that if he keeps it in play, he's going to get clattered. Wins a free kick. Leeds take it quickly again and just try to test this Millwall midfield, see if they've got their legs. Alexander looking a little bit tired as Hosanna nips past him. Now Bryce Hosanna going straight to the middle of midfield. It's a really long busting run into Nketiah. This will be some goal again. Finished just past the far post. It's so unlucky for Leeds' point of view. Bryce Hosanna doing it all on his own. And Nketiah a whisker away from making it 3, Ben.
Unbelievable run by Hosanna there. Just drove through people, and I was thinking, go and open your legs up, and certainly did. And when he found the pass, he found the composure to Nketiah. And to be honest, I think everybody expected the net to bulge, but it just opened his body up too much and just found the other side of the post. But what a run here, driving through the heart of Millwall. Had the composure to find Nketiah, and like I said, you expect Nketiah just to find the bottom corner, but just opened up a tad too much. But great play by Hosanna.
Mitchell in midfield, challenging. Bogusz Nketiah again trying to cause nuisance up top. There is Berardi launching the ball. Perhaps could have cleared the building here at Thorp Arch as it flies behind. No nonsense, of course, from Gaetano Berardi. Probably could have took a touch if he really wanted and made a pass, but decided against it. As here is Clark. Good work from Jack Clark. He noticed there was a bit of a tight spot, so he decided to go back to Meslier, who's really growing into this game. He had a bit of a nervous start, still made the save before dropping it after being fouled, and the ball was bundled in, but he's played a really good ball out to Stevens, to Berardi. His cutback is just too far in front of Bogusz again. There is Struick just trying to marshal the defence. He steps in once more. Another inch-perfect tackle. And Gotts tries to keep it in play. He has done so, and instead given... I think it's just going to trickle out. I thought he'd given Millwall a chance to attack. And Alexander not happy there that the player's been stopped. He was taking the throw in 10 yards down the line where it should have been.
Don't know why he's getting so upset about it. to be fair, he wasn't going to take it anyway. He might have just been upset that people weren't rushing to try and speed the game up, because obviously they're chasing the game now, Millwall.
Yeah, here is Alexander. Can he get forward? He rides the first challenge. He's into the box. Zana does bring him down. It's going to be a penalty to Millwall. Zana, I think, expected the shot and went in desperation attempt to try and block it. Alexander didn't take that opportunity. He tried to ride the challenge, and it will now be Millwall's number 10 against Ilham Meslier to make it 2-1. Well, he's just looking a little bit scrambled there. Quickly taken throw-in was what Millwall wanted. They were then told to be patient. Leeds just didn't handle that situation at the back. So Meslier has taken a drink and, pardon me, gets ready. Makes himself big. A little touch of the bar as well. So Alexander against Meslier. He'll step up, and it's just going to be saved by the keeper. Can he get the second attempt? He can't. Really good work from Ilham Meslier to get his fingertip to the first attempt onto the post. But it falls back to Alexander, and it's 2-1.
Unbelievable save from the penalty, by the way. Fully stretched out to his right-hand side. Got a little fingertip onto the post. And that's where, as a goalkeeper, you just want that little bit of luck. The rebound to fall to one of your players running in. But fell straight back to Alexander. And it was a simple finish for him in the end. But so unlucky by Meslier after a great penalty save.
He doesn't really deserve that, so Leeds' clean sheet is gone. Now need to stay switched on for the rest of this game, and looking in total control, but a rash challenge, and the game's been turned again. Got his ball is a bit wayward. Here is Mitchell. Mitchell out towards Bure, running at Gotts. Gotts tries to jockey him and now can't dive in. Cross comes the effort, the pass. Stevens going to let it go out of play for a throw, and Lee just need to settle down for a few minutes. I see a replay of that original. It was McCalmont that missed the first challenge, and Hazana, I think like everybody probably thought that he was going to go for goal, Alexander, and it's a definite penalty. Yeah, it is, and I think he'll be disappointed with that, Hazana, watching it back, because I think he had him where he wanted him. But like you said, Tom, I think he thought he was going to pull the trigger that split second earlier, so he's gone to ground to make the block. But as defenders, always try and stay on your feet until it's vital that you have to leave him to put a block in. But all we need to do now is just take the sting out of the game for the next couple of minutes, just like we're doing here. Just keep moving the ball, simple little passes. Don't let Millwall get their tails up. Yeah, good work from Leeds. This some crisp passing. Here's Struick once more. Going to put his foot through this to find Stevens, who's hugging the touchline. Barad is inside him. Stevens towards the far post. Keeper comes out to Sanford and deals with it early doors. Alexander was offside, so Alexander got a free touch to it. Here's Jack Clark. Good run from Clark. Cunby Hiles in the middle, trying to offer a helping hand. Clark goes with the wrong ball. And here comes Duncan for Millwall. Floated in behind. Alexander's got to deal with this. He drops the shoulder, tries to confuse Alexander. There is Meslier. Neat footwork from him again. And now McCalmont in the middle of the park. Showed a classy touch a few seconds ago, McCalmont, to keep the ball in play, but he scooped it over a player's head. Now he's gone cross-field. We're into the final 15 minutes, listening to LUTV of the first 23's game of the season for Leeds United. Just for a second, a bit of a wobble from that goal conceded, but they need to stay switched on. Very costly a 2-2 draw, considering, Ben, the positions they've been in today and how comfortable they've looked. Yeah, because I've been 2-0 up, and like I said, just dictated the second half. Had no threat whatsoever of Millwall, but all of a sudden now that goal's given real confidence. Yeah, Duncan moves across to the far side as here comes Bure. Tries to nick past McCalmont, which he has, saved by Meslier at the near post, and Leeds just a bit guilty of either diving in early or not committing themselves to a tackle. It's a bit either end of the scale. They're not doing one thing, then the other side of things, we think they should clear it, they're not. And just maybe panicking a little bit, which is not the norm for the 23 setup. Normally very assured, but just a nervous 5 minutes. Bure's going to cross to take this corner towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Again, Struick heads clear. Beats his man for power and strength as Topoloi goes with a little dummy. Azana's having a bit of a battle on the far side, and Meslier again keeps saying he's growing into the game. That's a bit better from him. That was probably the only weakness in the first half, where if he did come up and step away, he was maybe a bit too urgent, Ben, to get rid of it, and he threw it out of play a few times. That time, you could see he wanted to do it, and he thought, well, actually, there's nothing on. Rather than waste possession, we're losing 2-1, I'll just keep this ball.
Yeah, and it's just good game management by him, because in the first half, when it's 0-0, you want to get that tempo high, you want to release the ball as soon as you've got it. But knowing the situation of the game, giving passes away, Millwall growing into the game now, it's just when you get the ball in your hand, slow the game down, let's get set and let's rebuild.
Yeah, Bogus has just been adjusted to have given a free kick away, a foul in midfield on Davis, and Leeds having to get back. Topoloy and Duncan now work their way into this free kick position. It's Duncan that's taken charge. Ball was in a perfectly good position, decides to roll it.
Was it putting it?
Well, he keeps rolling it millimetres sideways and forward. He's been told to go back to where it was, where there was nothing wrong with it. Now he eventually takes the set piece towards Deborah. Berardi gets a really good jump up in the air and meets it. Maybe not the destination he wanted to clear the ball, but it's still a touch away. Here is Mitchell again. He's getting more of a hold of this game, the Millwall number 4. Drops the shoulder, goes for goal, and it's in. And Leeds guilty of giving Mitchell far too much time. And I said he'd been growing into the contest, and he dropped the shoulder, went for goal. And Leeds under real pressure now, 2-2.
That's a real disappointing goal to give away, is that, Tom? Just putting no real pressure on Mitchell. He's taking a touch, another one. And then if no one's going to close him down, he's going to pull the trigger. And fair play to him, it's a great finish into the far corner, but someone's got to close him down there. Can't let people shoot from edge of your box. You can see Mezier's turned round in kind of disbelief. No one's gone out to put that pressure on. And from being 2-0 up, cruising, it's back to 2-2. We've got it all to do now to find a win in the last 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, real tough 6-7 minutes. Around the 75th minute, they got the first Millwall, and ever since then they've been the better team. And Leeds dominated before that, but can't just switch off. And of course, Leeds did it a couple of times in the doors last season. Burnley was the one where me and Ben watching at the road, where they were 2-0 up, and then it was 2-2. And of course, it eventually didn't matter. They won the league title with games to spare, but just lessons learned at the doors. But there's every chance they can go on and get a third or a fourth as Clark comes forward, takes a deflection off Topoloy. But the referee ignores Millwall's appeals for a goal kick and gives the corner to the Whites. Clark's going to go across to take it. Did have options of a short one. Looks to be ignoring them though. Bigots might fancy a little sneaky run into the box from there. Towards the back post, it's going to fall towards the edge of the area for Davis to clear for Millwall. Here is Hazana, trying to pick out a pass. He loops it over the top. It's going to be difficult to keep in this one. Clark's done just that. Now he turns inside across the face of goal. Keeper saves. There is Kun. Oh, he sliced it wide. And Kun Mihailov had his head in his hands. Frustration. Nketiah again getting in such a good area, forcing the keeper to fly out and make a stop. But Kun Mihailov, did he need to take it first time, Ben? He seemed to think he did, and a man of his quality in the box, you probably thought he'd just side-footed it home.
Jack Clark does superbly on the right-hand side, just to create that half a yard for himself, to fizz a ball across the 6-yard box. Sanford got an important touch to it because Nketiah were right behind him to tap it home. But then when it did fall to Kun, you expect, and like I said, could he took a touch? It was difficult. I know there were bodies around him. He just seemed to me falling back a touch to his right-hand side. It's always difficult to keep a shot on target when you are falling away from the ball, but Jack Clark did ever so well. And we haven't done that the last 10 minutes, so we haven't given him the ball so he can have a run at the full-back. And that's where we got a lot of joy with him and Stevens in possession now.
Yeah, chance in for Stevens. Good turn to Berardi, to Kun, into Stevens. Back looking for Kun. It's going to fall towards Bogus, who's going to flick it up and away from his marker. Stevens again, it's in behind to Kun. Can he spin and turn? He's going to go to the byline. Just can't find the space to cross, and he doesn't get the touch he requires of a Millwall man. Millwall now wasting more space. More time, should I say. Sanford just kicked it back towards Kun. He's not going to take the set piece on time either. In fact, he's going to scoop it up and go to the other side of the pitch. And Millwall look like they're happy for the draw now.
Yep, they'll be absolutely delighted they got back into this game, because when it was 2-0, the only other team it expected to score, could see scoring, was themselves to build on the lead. So they're going to do this between now and the end of the game, and it is frustrating as a player when they do it, but they've every right to at the moment.
Yeah, they certainly have. As there is Clark, and up and under from him, flicked on by Gumihanov, bundled into Leeds Alexander by McCalmont, and he's just struggling to hold George Alexander, a Millwall first goal scorer. And a few scrappy fouls from Leeds now, as Millwall send their big boys forward. Again, Duncan's decided to move the ball a yard further forward where it should be. I don't think he'll go for it again, though the referee caught him the third time. Finally takes the set piece. Berardi beaten in the air, but McCalmont comes across with the second attempt. Stevens flicks it into a dangerous position. Berardi wasn't expecting it. Leeds must switch on here. It's Mitchell again. He tries to wrap his foot around the ball. And finally, Leeds put some pressure on him. And then finally, it's Meslier that can ball the ball out towards Berardi. So Leeds just guilty of playing into Millwall's hands. I know Jordan Stevens is a very accomplished footballer. To play a little sideways pass like that, you're asking for an inch perfect delivery. Should have put his foot through it. And he's just guilty of causing their own problems in the last 10 minutes, Ben.
I don't know if we thought when it was 2-0 up whether the game was done and dusted, but we just got a bit sloppy giving the ball away. And even now we're trying to force things, whereas towards the end of the first half, start of the second half, we're doing the basic things. Kept on banging on about in this game, but that's when we looked as best, just playing to simple to feet. And if there's a long diagonal pass that's on, do it, play with confidence, but have it with quality as well. There's just been too many times since we conceded that first goal, we just kind of went into a shells, we kind of got a bit disturbed a little bit, and Millwall had the tails up, but it was just down to us by giving silly free kicks away, giving the ball away, whatever it is.
Yeah, I thought Stevens had given a free kick away there, but referee gives not, which is good news for Leeds, as here is Gumihanov to Gotts, out towards Clark, who just scoops it up. No real thought process behind the covering Millwall defenders. That was obstruction from Toploy, but gets away with it. Bryce and Alexander caused some real problems today. As Leeds win a free kick, Alexander was judged to have held Hosanna down, which I did think he had done. Hosanna's interest was to get up to his feet as quickly because Leeds were under pressure. And we are going to need some physio treatment here for Leeds' number 6. So a reminder of the 2-2 scoreline and the goal scorers: Pascal Struik in the first half, Nketiah in the second. Millwall got their goals inside 5 minutes. A penalty save from Meslier, denying Alexander, who scored with the rebound from Mitchell, not closed down. On the sunny afternoon here at Thorp Arch, as he smashed the ball in the far corner past Meslier. A reminder of what's coming up on LUTV over the coming days. Don't forget the press conference tomorrow on Tuesday, pre-Brentford, with Marcelo Bielsa here on LUTV. And that leads in nicely to Wednesday's action, which of course is the Brentford game at Elland Road. That is a 7:45 kickoff on Wednesday night, but all the build-up with the team here at LUTV at 7 p.m. So get your match pass available worldwide, that game. So get your match pass for that on the club website, as Leeds look to continue that fine start to the championship campaign. It looked to have been a fine start for the 23s 15 minutes ago, but as it stands, life's got a little bit trickier, as Millwall have managed to get 2 goals to recover. As there is Gotts, loops it down the line towards Nketiah. He can't keep it in play. Millwall do, though. So they found Alexander. Leeds are slow to react to that ball, especially in the middle of the park. Nketiah putting the pressure on. Long ball looping over the top, trying to give Hosanna some problems. Bradbury's got to it. He'll probably hit this, and he does. Gotts gets to it, and that'll be a free kick. And it's all just got totally opposite in terms of momentum. We had, Ben, Leeds in first, second gear before the 75th minute, and now looking a little bit jaded at the back.
Just looked a bit chaotic and a bit rash in possession, in his defending, just all over really. Again, just little simple things, just making basic mistakes, which we didn't do for large parts of this game.
Yeah, Struick's tangling with Bradbury. Good work from Struick again. I don't want to curse him, but yet to put a foot wrong for the Whites, as there is Kunn. Now Leeds stretching and opening up the Millwall defence. Kunn goes right, asking for Jack Clark to get in a good position. Clark has got options in the on the box. One of them is Nketiah, one of them is Bogusz. It's a heavy first touch and it's hooked away by Davis, the Millwall sub. Struick again challenging with Bradbury. No free kick given by the official. Here is McCalmont. Bogusz to Stevens, sorry, to Gott, should I say. Clark's got past his man Topoloy every time in the second half. This is the first time he hasn't. Look at commentator's curse. Then he gives the free kick away. Just signs of frustration, Ben, as we now approach the final minute or so of the 90.
Yeah, I think he had the beam and then just driving inside, but he tried to get back onto his right. But for the last 10-15 minutes, we haven't really fed Jack Clark. I think he's done well when we've given the ball early. He's ran at his full-backs. And he's hugged this touchline on the right-hand side the whole second half. Probably did expect maybe him and Jordan Stevens to switch sides just to mix it up a little bit. But it's all down to just a bit of chaotic kind of play from us, like just a crazy 10 minutes we've had.
Yeah, Hazana slips, brings down Alexander. Referee says there's nothing in it, and now Stevens brings the ball under control. Fabulous first touch from him. Into Bogusz, who's going to seen the runner on the far side in Gaetano Berardi. Puts too much on it though. Just that over-eagerness to get it out to that far touchline. And Millwall will be happy with that all day long as the ball trickled out for a throw into the Lions. As you can see, there's nobody in a rush whatsoever. Duncan's just walking past the ball. Eventually Stevens gets bored of it and gives it back towards Dan Moss at right back. Hopefully the referee's adding on this time that they're taking to take a simple throw-in. Down the line it comes, flicked on. Here is Berardi to Meslier. Fired forward. Lumped down the line by Berardi again. And he's going to throw in high up the pitch. It's turned away by Jesse Debra. Under pressure from Nketiah, leading another ball quickly, and they've got one. Here's Bogusz. So can Leeds click once and for all in the final third? The second time in this second half. Berardi to Stevens. Plenty of white shirts forward for Leeds. Referee keeps glancing towards his watch. Stevens nips away. Oh, he just tries to beat his man. Needed a bit more communication from his teammates to let him know he wasn't under as much pressure as he thought. Good work from Struick once more from 1-2 with Hazana. Gots down the line to Kunn. Millwall step off him and allow him to run. Perhaps a costly move. Loop to the far post. It's a really aimless pass, and Stevens will just launch it out of play. And of course, if that ball's not going to come back, they need a quicker one. But yeah, coming high off there, he was given the time to drop off the shoulder. They allowed him to do it. For me, he should have been taking that space and driving into it, Ben.
It's just another case we're just trying to force things. If the space is there as a forward player, an attacking player, go drive into it. Don't have to keep trying those little worldy passes all the time. As Millwall are making another substitution just to run the clock down.
Yeah, I'd be delighted with this point. They'll be keeping themselves unbeaten at the start of the season, as it's Duncan that's going to stay on. Berry, the man that comes off. And it is Rob Strachan that will get maybe a minute or two maximum to have an influence in this game. Sanford takes the goal kick. Going to fall to McCalmont, who has to be quick here. Into Gott. McCalmont offer another angle for the pass, and just what he provides to this team in that anchoring midfielder role. Struick out to the left. Berardi. Here is Stevens. He's been told to get his head down and go at the defence. Here is Bogusz now. He turns past one. Good work to get past the second. He's clipped. He flies into the third man, but the referee said it was because he was knocked off balance. And Leeds have got a free kick in a good position, which should well be the last action of this game. And Alfie McCalmont's asked for the ball. He's got it in his hands.
It's one of those awkward kind of positions though. Do you go for goal or you just try and like whip one in towards the far stick? Well, I think either way, Tom, I think you're just going to have to get runs across the goalkeeper, whether you get a touch onto it. If you don't, you're almost trying to score at the far post, so if it avoids everybody, it creeps in there.
Well, after going down, Mateusz Bogusz, he's going to take the set point. At least he's called rank and asked for the set piece. And now, he's getting a yellow card. Now, is he getting a card for the tackle on Davis, the sub?
That's the only reason why I can think he has got a yellow card.
So the referee's given the free kick to Leeds, but he's now decided to card him for an incident that happened off the ball. So he rides the two, he gets clipped, then he flies in. Now, it's a bit of a confusing situation to card him for a challenge after. You'd have thought if he's going to card him, he'd give the free kick the other way, but
I think the main thing, we've still got the free kick. So
all that matters for Leeds' point of view. So Mateusz Bogusz with a chance to really make a name for himself yet again in the 23s. He's just moving that ball a little bit further forward. If the wall steps back, he can now finally assess the space he has to score. So he's got Stevens just in front of him, to the left, offering an option to cross. Got his looping to the far post. He's got McCalmont and Cumb, but he is going to go for goal towards the far corner. Takes a deflection and in. Certainly seemed to take a deflection, but Mateusz Bogusz gets the goal in stoppage time. And Leeds are 3-2 up, and after a real calamity 10 minutes, that should be the perfect way to end the game. And then it is the last kick of the match, and Millwall are left distraught. Leeds get the victory they required, and they start with 3 points, Ben.
They certainly do. Last kick of the game. We just wanted that one kind of last chance just to try and obviously create something out of nothing. And what we did do, we got a deflected goal from the free kick, came off the wall. Only 3 men in the wall. I'm surprised at that. I think from the last play you expected 4, maybe 5, just to try and see out the danger. Someone's ducked in the wall. They'd be absolutely devastated, Millwall. But from our point of view, it looked like a game we threw away 2-0 up, but get out of jail with that winner. And it's always good, especially early in the season, just to win games where you think could be getting away from you. So that'll do us a world of confidence, but plenty to work on going through to the rest of the season.
Yes, a 95th minute winner for Mateusz Bogusz with the free kick deflected into the back of the net. So Leeds' first PDL North game as they defend their title ends with 3 points. Pascal Struik getting the first, Nketiah with the second after a brilliant team move. 2 goals from Alexander and Mitchell, despite a Meslier penalty save, made it 2-2. We look destined to share the points, but Leeds nick it at the death. And that is full time. Once again, thank you for tuning in to LUTV. Myself, Tom Hill, and Ben Parker providing the commentary. And stay tuned later this week for the Marcelo Bielsa press conference and the game on Wednesday against Brentford.